Hello, Bumblebee Tuna. Welcome, and I hope you are having a wonderful day this new moon day. I wanted to make a video, a separate video about the moon and the moon phases, what phase that we're born under and what that means in our natal chart. I also wanted to talk about the moon phases in a magical sense. If you are into magic, if you're a lunatic like me, and you like that little bit of extra symbology and working with the themes of the planets and the energies and the correspondences of those, then this is a fun way to sprinkle in a little bit of that as well. So we have our moon phases. We have the new moon phase, which is the beginning phase of the moon, which I was kind of surprised at when I found that out. I always thought that the full moon was the first phase of the moon, but it's actually the new moon. And the symbology behind that is that the moon is dark during this phase. You don't see it in the sky because the sun and the moon are opposite of each other, and the earth is blocking the sun's light from reaching the moon. So we have a dark moon. The dark moon resembles the tilled soil that we would use if we were using a farmer's almanac and we were planting our seeds and planting our harvest according to the moon cycles. Then this would be the time that we plant our seeds. It is symbolic of the tilled soil that is ready to receive the plants and ready to receive the seeds, I should say. The correspondences of the moon. It is a feminine energy. It is a receptive energy. And as we talk about the moon phases that we're born under, I am going to assume, we're just going to keep that in mind, that this is a correspondence of feminine receptive energy. And then the different phases will go into description about the different receptive nature, depending on the phase that the moon is in at the time that you were born. So we have our new moon phase, which I said is our intention setting. If you are using this in a magical sense, we are setting intentions now. We are getting our plans ready. If we are using spirits, if you are using ancestors, if you are working with planetary correspondences or herb magic or planting, this would be the time to be getting all of your tools, all of your divination things ready, all your offerings, all your correspondences ready. This is that time, and we set our intentions, we light our candles, we send it out into the universe, what the desire is for manifesting. If you're born under the new moon phase, you have a powerful dose of openness and receptive energy that the moon has, because this phase is so about creativity, about nurturing, about fertility, about all of those things that will lead to the growth of something. You are the type of person that is, you're an initiator, you're a starter, you're a go-getter, you have some psychic abilities too. You're like an open portal for that, in the same way that the new moon the full moon energy is. So our next phase of the moon is the waxing crescent. So we have our new moon phase where the moon is completely dark. The waxing crescent phase is where a little sliver of light begins to form on one side of the moon. I believe it's the left side of the moon, depending on whether you're in the northern or southern hemisphere, I believe. I could be wrong on that. So we have a little sliver of light that's coming in from the moon, and so the moon is only going to get brighter from here because we are working our way up to the full moon. If you are born under the waxing crescent phase, you are optimistic, youthful, ambitious, expansive. This reminds me of a cardinal energy. You are transitioning from a period of attention to a period of growth. So this is the time, this is the quality of that cardinal energy to initiate that movement. So our next phase after the waxing crescent is the first quarter moon. This is where the moon is halfway full. This is our time to check in. If you are using this as in a magical sense for manifestation, this is the time where you check in, see if your intentions are still the same, if you have all of the things that you need, if it seems like it's working out so far, if you need to change anything. This is the time to do that. If you're born under the first quarter moon phase, you are in a mutable sign. This is a transitioning sign, so you are transitioning from halfway to full. So you're changing and growing. You're a person that is focused on learning, on gaining that knowledge, and I use a relay race analogy, or I think of a relay race whenever I think of this aspect, because you have your racers or your runners that are in the beginning of the race, you have the middle runners, and then you have the runners that are at the end. So the runners in the front that start out with the baton, they set the pace for the race. When they hand off to the middle runners, they maintain the pace until the runners behind catch up, and then they pass the baton off, and then the runners in the back, they will bring in that baton and bring up the rear. So that's the first quarter moon energy, according to me. After that, we have our waxing gibbous phase, which is just over the half moon. We have increasing activity. It's a time to hit the gas. So we're full blown into our manifestation now. There's no stopping this speeding train. So people with this placement setting are energetic, enthusiastic. They have the energy and are ready to go. They are the manifestors. They are the mutable transistors that are able to move themselves into a position of how they need to. After this phase, we have the full moon, where the sun and the moon are opposite, and this moon is reflecting the sun's light. The earth is now moved out of the way so that that reflection can happen. This is a time where we should be getting clarity. The moon is fully bright. There is no darkness left on the face of the moon. We have illumination. We have all of the light coming in, so there are no dark spaces, like I said. So we should have the clarity that we need to complete and follow through with our manifestation. This is a great time if you need to make spirit contact while the moon is full. If you need to do more of a subconscious navigation during this time, this is the time to do it. It's under the full moon phase. People born under this phase are intuitive, they're reflective, they're nurturing, they're creative. Once again, the psychic abilities are there. And depending on the sign will be the affinity and how that plays out in our lives, and what our natural talents will be with that. The phase after the full moon is the waning gibbous moon. So the big moon is now in the disseminating phase. It is getting smaller. The light will be growing smaller as the darkness increases. And this phase is just after the full moon until the last quarter moon phase. And if you are born under this phase, this is more of your introverts. They have, if you go through the symbology of the moon cycle, they have gone through the new moon, and they have gone through the full moon, and so they have gained all that wisdom and experience from going through those different experiences in a symbolical way. So people born under this phase, they're of a more focused energy. They're more of a maintaining energy. They are not so much focused on building, but maybe changing structures that already exist instead of thinking of new ones. And so the phase after that will be the last quarter phase, which will be the finishing cycle. Manifestations should be completing at this point. If they are going to complete, if they're not complete, then we should know by this time what the error was or what went wrong, so that we can try again. And like I said, this is a 30-day cycle with the moon, so It's quick manifestations. It doesn't take a whole long time. You should know within the span of a month whether this manifestation is going to happen or not. So it's a nice intermediate amount of time, I think, to work with this. So if you were born under the last quarter moon phase, this is where you start to see your people who remind us of old souls, who are laid back, who are relaxed. They seem to just have this wisdom about them, like they've just known. This comes from all that experience that they've had through the different phases of the moon. And so we then have our waning crescent phase, which is the final phase before the new moon. So now we just have a slight sliver of moon left, of moonlight left before the moon will go dark again and begin a new phase. So day 30 and day 1 are the same day of the moon. So in that final phase, if you are born under the waning crescent phase, you are a reserved person. You are, I don't want to say lethargic, but just not the type of person who would want to scale the side of a mountain. You are more of a laid-back nature, more of a refined nature, more focused on more of those existing structures that have been around for a while, and maybe working on changing those, and interested in adding to what is already in place, instead of trying to raise and begin a whole entirely new system. Alright, well, I hope that was informative. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment. I also have an Instagram. It is redastro11. You can follow me on Facebook. I believe it's Foxfire Astrology, or Rachel Frederick, which is my name. I hope you all have a blessed new moon day. This has been my helpful daughter, Lennon, who has been holding my notes for me today. And I love you all.